So in this video, we're going to go over a couple of things on how to update your website. So the first thing you want to do is go to your website, bigshoulderspear.com. Once you do that, I like to have another tab open, and this tab will showcase the back end. So that way you can flip back and forth between your website and the dashboard. So to go to the dashboard, you would type in www.bigshouldersbeer.com/WP-admin. So that's /WP-admin. Once you go there, you'll be asked for a username and password. I'm going to go and log in. Just give me a few seconds. Once you're logged in, you should see a screen similar to this. So the first thing I want to showcase is the user section. So the user sections allows you to create new accounts for other people to update your website. You can also go in and edit and delete existing users. In this case, I'm going to click on edit because I assume that you might want to change your password. So what you need to do is scroll all the way down, and if you'd like to change your password, you could change your password here. So you would type in your new password, repeat the new password, and then click on update. Now, the one thing I want to go over is that when you create a new user, under this website, there's essentially editorial, authors, contributors, subscribers. You don't really need to go understand thoroughly what that means. Just know that if you want to create another user to be able to update your website, assign them the role of administrator, and that will give them the same access that you would have. Essentially, all these sidebar tool menus will exist for them to go in and make the appropriate changes for your website. So that's essentially the users section that I wanted to go over. The next thing I want to go over is pages. Now, pages is exactly what it says. It's all the pages of your site. So, for example, I'm going to go to the other tab, and let's say we want to make some new changes to the out and about, which I can see that happening as you have more events. You'll like to create more events under this page. So, under your dashboard, you would go to pages, and then you would click on the appropriate page. So in this case, we'll go to the out and about. If you hover over that link, you'll have an option for edit. So go ahead and click on edit. And you can see that this is your page, essentially, at least the main portion of it. So if I wanted to create a new event, I'll put my cursor where I want the new content to be in, press enter, and add in the new event. So let's say September 15th, event 1. Put a couple spaces, and then let's say I have a link. So I'm just going to use Google as an example. So I'm going to just type in http://google.com. I'll highlight the entire link, and I'll click on this little chain here. This chain really represents a link as a hyperlink. I'll click on that, and you'll get like an in-page pop-up where you can paste in your URL. I want to check the checkbox that says open link in a new window/tab, just so that when somebody clicks on that link, it opens up a new tab. And I will click on add link, and you can see that the link changed colors and there's an underline. That just tells you that that is now a hyperlink instead of just a text. And if I'm happy with my changes, I'll click on update. I'm just going to go ahead and do that. We'll delete the changes shortly. If I go to the other tab to see the front page, front part of the website, if I refresh the page, which you see now we have the next event. And if I click on it, see how it opens up a new tab. So that's why I checked the checkbox there. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that change because I don't want that there. And this essentially, it's just like Word. I mean, I can type all I want, and then if I wanted to change the color of the text, if I wanted to, I just highlight the appropriate text and select some of these pre-made options. So let's say I want it to be green. I do that, it's green. If I highlight it and I click on bold and italicize, it'll be bold and italicized. If I highlight the entire text and I want to right align it for some reason, I could do that. Bullet points are an option as well. So I can continue doing bullet points and so forth. Tables, if you're familiar of how tables work, you can create a, let's say, a 3x6, and then you'll have kind of a little grid that you can put content in. I use this to create like 2-section websites, but that might be a little bit more advanced. On your site, there's not really a need for grids. I think everything is just as is, as we can see here. It's just straight text. And then one last thing, if I create like a title, I can highlight the words, and then one of these options should allow me to make the text size bigger. I might not turn on this feature right now, but I can turn it on quickly for you. You can go through paragraph, you can use the headings if you wanted to. Those will make it bigger as well. But right after this video, I will give you the option to change the text size, so don't worry about that. And the last thing I want to go over is there is a difference between Shift Enter and Enter. So if I press Enter, it's a paragraph break and a little spacing underneath. If I do Shift Enter, it's just a carriage return. So that's just something to keep mindful about in terms of page layout and spacing. Shift Enter is just a carriage return, while an enter gives you a carriage return, but also a little space underneath underneath the previous sentence. So that's a paragraph break. So I'm going to make sure everything looks good, and I'm going to click on Update. Always click on Update if you want your changes to be live. If you don't, click on Update, it'll just save it, but it won't go live. You can also preview changes if you don't want. If you're not sure if the page looks good before publishing it, you could just preview it by clicking on the preview change pages. So that's a nice feature. So I'm just gonna delete all that and click on Update just to make sure everything looks as good as before. So if I refresh, this fake event should disappear. So that's essentially how you edit pages. You just go to Pages, and it gives you all the options to all your pages. Certain pages won't be able to be updated unless you know some programming. Those pages includes the login page, as well as the beers page. The beers page we'll go over later. It's a little bit special in terms of how we add content, just because there's a little bit more functionality. Now, if you want to edit just the top portion, that's easy. You would just go to our beers, and you can see that this sentence correlates to the sentence up here. To add and edit these beers down here, well, like I say, I'll explain it in the future. The next section I wanted to go over is images. Images are already predetermined on your site. So let's try to find a page that has images. I don't think there's exactly a page that has images. Like again, our beers will go into another in the future. I guess your pages don't have any images. The images would be the sliders up here. So in order to update the slides, let's say you wanted to have a new picture, you'll go under Media, and you can see that all the images all the slider images are called banners. So banner 1, banner 2, banner 3, banner 4, and banner 5. So let's say I wanted to update the first banner. I'll click on Edit. And if you have an image for the banner or the slider, you would upload a new file here. Now, one thing I want to make sure is that all the from now on, I'll just call them banners. All the banners has a slight curve that allows it to give that the nice look appearance right here. So when you update with a new banner, just make sure it has that slight curve up here. You also want to make sure its file type is JPG, that's JPEG, and the dimension is 286 by 269. So make sure that the dimensions and the image file types are the same. And once you have that in place, you'll click on upload a new file, and you'll just select your file from your computer and click on upload, and it will just basically swap out the image that it has now. So that's how you update an image. So let me go back to pages. Let's say you want to add a image to one of your pages. So let's say we wanted to edit all about us, and we want to add an image right here. We could do that. It's a little bit advanced, but we can go over that. I'll click on edit, and let's say I wanted the image, let's say somewhere between these two paragraphs, and let's say we want it to be right aligned. We could do that. We'll put the cursor somewhere around here. Click on add image to add the image. And I'm going to use an existing image. You could upload a new image by going to the upload files and then select an image from your computer. But I'll select an image that already exists. I'll select this picture right here. I want to align it to the right. I don't want it to link to anywhere. Click on none. The size, I'll just use the existing size, the full size of this image. And I'll click on insert into page. And there you go. He's right aligned. You could click and drag the image to kind of adjust the where it would show up on the site. So let's say I think this looks pretty good. I'm not sure if I don't know for sure. So I'll click on preview changes. Let's see how it looks on the site. So that looks pretty good. And that's how you add an image to your site, a new image to your site, and to right align it. Now if I wanted to left align it, I'll click on this little pencil here, and I could select the alignment. So I'll click on to the left, and he'll appear, or this portrait picture here would show up on the left side. So I don't want to make, or I don't want that picture there, and I don't want to make any changes, so I will not click on update. And that's basically it for pictures. So to edit slider or edit the banner or any other previous images, you'll go to the media section. You'll click on the appropriate image, click on edit. All the details about the existing image shows up on the right hand side. It's a JPEG, it's 286 by 269 pixels, and then down here is where you would upload your new image to replace the existing image. And then to add a new image to a page, you'll click on the appropriate page, and you would click on add media. And with images, if you don't want the image, you could just delete it, or you click on it and then click on the X. So both scenarios work as well. As long as I don't update the page, the changes won't the changes won't take place. So the last thing I want to go over is our beers. So down here we have a couple beers, and we have two beers that don't have images. So let's say you do later on have images for Augustus Copper Rye. You would go to a section called beers, and then you would highlight the appropriate beer. So in this case, the Augustus. I will click on edit. And then right here, this is the image, or this is the text for your beer, right here. And then to add an image, you would select a featured image. So once you have an image similar to this, with the same size and the same file type, it is a JPEG. The file size is, let me just look it up. It's 200 by 258. So 200 width and then 258 height, so it's width by height, and that's the same thing for the media section. You would just click on set featured image, and then go to uploads, and then select the image from your computer, and then click on set featured image. So let's take a look at some of the other beers that have an image already set. So let's look at Crosstown Wheat. And then we can also take a look in terms of this little, how to edit the text more appropriately here. So Crosstown Wheat, I'll click on Edit. You can see that the text is right here. The featured image is already in place. The Crosstown Wheat up here is essentially the stuff in bold, the title of the beer. That'll automatically be bolded as well as in a bigger font automatically by the system. So anything you put here would be this section here. I see that the title of the beer in the paragraph is a different color. So that's easily done as well. You would highlight, it's already that color, but if you wanted to, let's say, make American that color as well, you'll highlight the text, and then you would select this last color here. This is the Our Beer color. So I've already set it in the programming to make that stand out a little bit. So you click on that, and you can see that the color looks exactly like the title of all the beers for the most part. Looks like this one doesn't have one, so there's no special color for that. And down here, it's essentially the images, I'm sorry, the title or the text, and all this is just italicized. So from here to here, that's a paragraph, like I mentioned before. It does create a little spacing, but for all these are the line breaks, the carriage breaks. So these are Shift Enter to create this effect, while this one is a paragraph break. So let's, for example, go to a beer that does not have any description. So down here, let's leave this page. I don't want to make my changes take effect. So let's go back to the Augustus. So I could, I'll press Enter to create that paragraph break, and then I can do the alcoholic content, so 5.5%. And then all the other text could be a Shift Enter, where I would put in the other descriptions. I'll highlight this entire section and create the italicize, and that would simulate this right here. If I have the image ready, I would just click on Set Featured Image. So that's the Our Beer, how to edit the content for the Our Beer section. Now, in order to be able to reorder, just in case in the event that you do want to reorder certain things, you could. Underneath beers, you do have the option to reorder, so I'm going to click on Reorder. I'll leave this page. And it's just top to bottom, so I would just, let's say I wanted the Hopapalooza to be at first, I would just click and drag it all the way to the top, or any order that I wanted in, and then I would click Update. And that would just update the order of the beers. So that's the Our Beer section, pretty easy. The last thing I wanted to go over is the backup system. So the backup system is nice because it basically will back up your entire website and create a hyperlink for you to click on, so that you can download your entire website onto your personal computer, so that in the event that something ever happened to your website, for example, like it getting hacked, that sometimes happens unfortunately, or your hosting decided to go bankrupt and decides to go away. That shouldn't happen, but sometimes it does. Or you wanted to just have a copy of your website for safekeeping for any other catastrophic purposes, you would just click on Complete Backup, and it should be pretty fast. The site's pretty small, so it shouldn't take that long. So I'm gonna have it run. Now that the backup is finished, you should see a blue button up here say Download Backup. The entire website is 16.12 megabytes, so that's pretty nice. That's pretty small. And you just click on the blue button, and it should download to your local computer. So for mine, it's downloading right now, and now you have a copy of your website. So I recommend backing up after every major update to your site. So once you go into the site, you update a couple things. I recommend you backing up then, and then downloading to your computer, and that way you always have an updated copy of your website. If you don't update often, then once you do that initial backup, you don't have to back up until maybe a year or maybe a month. It just depends on you how often you really want to back up. But if you're not making changes, there's really no need to back up once you already have a backup of the most recent copy of your site. So that's essentially it on how to maintain your website. So we went over users and how to change passwords as well as create new users. We also went through on how to edit your pages, how to add hyperlinks, new images, the difference between a paragraph break and a carriage return. That's the enter versus shift enter. That one, I just keep bringing that up because that throws off a lot of people. Alignment, you can left align, right align text. Essentially, if you know how to use Word, you essentially know how to use the WordPress page editing features. They're essentially alike as you can change colors, bold, italicize, and all sorts of things. I'll add in the ability to add in or to update the text sizes if you wanted to. We went over the media section, and that's where you would change and swap out existing images such as the banner or sliders, like I call it, as well as we went over the our beer section. We learned how to edit the beer text as well as the beer title, the image, and reordering the beers. And we also and lastly we went over the backup. So thank you.